We're back on the Morgan Streetman Show. Plenty to get to today. We're talking about the Capitol riots. And, of course, the more we learn after the Capitol riots, we're seeing all kinds of people involved in these riots.
Well, there are all kinds of people involved, and one we wanted to talk about in particular who was not, as far as we know, involved directly in the U.S. Capitol riots, but this is an Antifa activist and supporter named Daniel Baker, who was arrested in Tallahassee last week, plotting to murder Trump supporters and police on Inauguration Day at the Florida Capitol. Now, this person is a former Army airborne infantryman with not a very distinguished career. It looks like in about 2007, he was supposed to be shipped out to Iraq with his unit, his Army airborne unit, but he went AWOL and then was discharged less than honorably in shortly thereafter. And from 2008 to 2017, he lived supposedly homeless in the Tallahassee area. So one has to wonder, this guy probably has some serious mental issues, it looks like. And then I also heard a report that he was more recently living actually in the Tampa Bay area, but we don't have any way to confirm that. But we know he lived in Tallahassee from 2008 through 2017. So obviously somewhere else after that. He trained in Syria in 2017 with the YPG. He was actually featured in a Vice documentary. And the YPG is essentially a terrorist group. It's been designated a terrorist group by the U.S. government. He also participated in the Chaz insurrection in Seattle. I was going to say earlier this year, but I guess it was last year at this point that he participated in that. Some interesting comments from him. Now, he's what he self-described hardcore leftist. And, you know, he talked about on January 8th, so this would be 2 days after the incidents at the U.S. Capitol, that he was offering a cash reward for people to attack an AP journalist. And he said, "We've decided to handle this ourselves because the D.C. cops let them in and all the cops are infiltrated." He also said that we need all Florida residents to rise up. Here in Florida, we must encircle terrorists who attack the Capitol. We will protect Capitol residents and civilians from armed racist mobs with every caliber available. This is an armed coup and can only be stopped by an armed community. So he basically said they wanted to set up a bunch of snipers, and he claims he was a sniper for that YPG group in Syria, but set up a bunch of snipers around the Florida Capitol on Inauguration Day to shoot Trump supporters and cops. So here we've got hardcore leftists inciting hardcore violence and trying to pull off mass murders. Now, this is very much different than what we see from people who support President Trump, despite what the media would tell you. And you notice the media doesn't really cover these stories, or if they do cover them, it's in passing and very lightly. And the same thing was going on at the U.S. Capitol. They weren't talking about what was really going on. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.